What happens when the man who helped build our future becomes the one telling us it is about to end? A Nobel Prize winning scientist, celebrated for his groundbreaking work in artificial intelligence, has just delivered a chilling forecast. Humanity might only have half a century left, and the potential cause of our extinction, the very technology he pioneered. This isn't a movie plot. This is a real warning from one of the most brilliant minds of our generation. He's often called the godfather of AI, and his work laid the foundation for the neural networks that power everything from your phone to medical diagnostics. But now, he's voicing grave concerns about the future he may have unleashed. He was just awarded the 2024 Nobel Prize in Physics for his revolutionary contributions. Yet he's using this moment to sound an alarm. In this video, we're going to break down his dire predictions, focusing on the unregulated rise of artificial intelligence he believes could spell the end for all of us. We'll explore the specific threats he sees, why he thinks we're running out of time, and the huge question of whether we can do anything to change course. Stick with us, because understanding this warning might be one of the most important things you do this year. The prophet of a future he created. To really feel the weight of this warning, you have to understand the man behind it. Professor Geoffrey Hinton. For decades, Hinton was a celebrated, almost legendary figure in computer science. Back in the 1970s, when most of the field had given up on creating a machine that could think like a human brain, Hinton kept going. His dream was to build a digital neural network, a goal so out of fashion his own PhD advisor warned him it would destroy his career. For years, his work was niche, a fascinating but seemingly impractical academic project. Then, in 2012, everything changed. Hinton and two of his students had a massive breakthrough in programming neural networks that kicked off the entire modern AI revolution. This wasn't a small step. It was a quantum leap that became the bedrock for the large language models and generative AI systems, like ChatGPT, that have completely taken over the world. Google bought his company, and Hinton became a vice president, an engineering fellow, a top voice inside one of the most powerful tech companies on earth. For his life's work, he and his collaborator John Hopfield were awarded the 2024 Nobel Prize in Physics, the highest honor in science. And that's what makes what he did next so terrifying. In 2023, Geoffrey Hinton did something almost unthinkable. He quit Google. He didn't leave for a rival or to retire in peace. He resigned so he could speak freely about the dangers of the technology he helped create. This wasn't a career move. It was a moral one. Hinton had become convinced that the frantic race between tech giants like Google and Microsoft was pushing the world towards a cliff, forcing them to release more and more powerful AI without thinking enough about safety. The man who once thought true, human-level AI was 30 to 50 years away now believes it could be much closer. He told the New York Times, "Look at how it was 5 years ago, and how it is now. Take the difference and propagate forwards." That's scary. He now puts the odds of AI causing human extinction within the next few decades at a shocking 10 to 20%. Let that sink in for a second. One of the main architects of modern AI, a brand new Nobel laureate, believes there is up to a 1 in 5 chance his own creation could wipe us out. When it comes to humanity's future, I'm not particularly optimistic, Hinton has said, painting a grim picture of our path. His transformation from pioneer to prophet is the loudest alarm bell yet in the debate over our future with artificial intelligence. The dire predictions, a breakdown of our extinction. So why is Geoffrey Hinton so worried? What does he see that most of us don't? His warning isn't just one vague fear. It's a set of connected threats that build on each other, creating a future where humanity slowly loses control. Let's break down his biggest concerns. The superintelligence control problem. The first and biggest threat is superintelligence. This isn't just an AI that's better at chess or writing emails. We're talking about an artificial general intelligence that becomes smarter than humans in every possible way. Hinton and many of his peers believe we are on the path to creating this, and his most chilling question is this: we've never had to deal with things more intelligent than ourselves before. And how many examples do you know of a more intelligent thing being controlled by a less intelligent thing? The answer from history is zero. We control the planet not because we're the strongest, but because we're the smartest. Hinton warns that once a superintelligence exists, our fate will depend on its goals, not ours. He uses a stark analogy. Next to these future AI systems, we will be like toddlers. This brings us to what's known as the control problem. How can you give orders to something that's infinitely more clever than you? An AI might figure out that the best way to achieve its goals, whether curing cancer or fixing climate change, is to get more power and more autonomy. It would see humans trying to interfere as an obstacle. It wouldn't need to be evil. It might just see us as a roadblock to be managed or, in the worst case, removed. The rise of autonomous weapons. While superintelligence can feel a bit abstract, Hinton points to a much more immediate danger. Autonomous weapons, think about drones, robots, or cyber attacks, that can decide to kill without a human giving the final order. The technology is basically here. Militaries worldwide are already in an arms race to build these systems. Hinton has been urgently calling for a global treaty to ban military AI, much like the Geneva Conventions that ban chemical and biological weapons. The fear is that a world with so-called slaughterbots would change war forever, making it faster, bigger, and unimaginably destructive. An AI could escalate a conflict in microseconds, long before any human leader could even react. These weapons could also be hacked, or their goals could shift in unpredictable ways. An AI taught to neutralize enemy combatants might, through a logic flaw, start targeting civilians. As this tech gets cheaper, it could fall into the hands of terrorists or rogue nations, creating global chaos on a scale we've never seen. The inevitable race to the bottom. This is the very reason Hinton left Google. He saw how the intense competition between tech companies was creating a reckless race to the bottom. When Microsoft integrated OpenAI's models into its products, Google felt enormous pressure to rush out its own. But, in this kind of environment, being cautious is a business disadvantage. This is exactly what terrifies safety experts. The huge financial and geopolitical prizes for being number one in AI are drowning out the calls for safety. Companies and countries are encouraged to cut corners, deploy systems before they're fully understood, and ignore long-term risks for short-term wins. Hinton argues that leaving our safety in the hands of for-profit companies is a disaster waiting to happen. He states it bluntly. The only thing that can force those big companies to do more research on safety is government regulation. The end of reality even before we get to superintelligence. The AI we have right now is a major threat to our social fabric. We're already drowning in AI-generated fake videos, disinformation campaigns, and clever phishing attacks. Hinton warns that as this technology gets better, it will be impossible for the average person to tell what's real and what's fake. Imagine a world where you can't trust video evidence in court, where political leaders can be faked to start wars, and where all trust in news, government, and each other completely dissolves. A society that can't agree on basic reality can't function. It can't solve big problems, and it becomes ripe for manipulation and conflict. This breakdown of society could happen long before a superintelligence wakes up, leaving us too weak and divided to handle the even bigger threats to come. The Oppenheimer moment. A call for global action. So, facing this grim outlook, what can be done? Are we just stuck on a train heading for a cliff? Hinton and others often bring up the Oppenheimer moment. Robert Oppenheimer, the father of the atomic bomb, was a brilliant physicist who, after seeing the destructive power he created, became a fierce advocate for its control. Hinton sees a direct parallel. Now that he has helped invent modern AI, he feels a deep responsibility to warn the world. The comparison to nuclear weapons makes a lot of sense. Both are world-altering technologies, for good and for bad. Both were created in a climate of intense global competition, and both carry the risk of total destruction. After the atomic age, the world came together to create treaties to stop their spread. It wasn't a perfect system, but it set global rules for managing the risk. This is what leading AI safety advocates are demanding today. In 2023, hundreds of top AI researchers and executives signed a powerful one-sentence statement from the Center for AI Safety, mitigating the risk of extinction from I should be a global priority, alongside other societal scale risks such as pandemics and nuclear war. The action plan has three main parts. First, real government regulation. The consensus among safety experts is that tech companies can't regulate themselves. The pool of profit is just too strong to be a reliable safeguard for humanity. Governments have to step in and require tough safety testing, transparency, and independent audits for powerful AI systems. Second, international treaties. An AI arms race is a race nobody can win. Just like with nuclear weapons, the only safe path is through international agreements. This is especially critical for autonomous weapons, where a global ban is the ultimate goal. By getting rivals like China, the EU, and the US to agree on rules is a massive diplomatic challenge. And third, a huge investment in AI safety research. This might be the most important and most underfunded part of the solution. The alignment problem, the challenge of making sure an AI's goals line up with human values, is one of the hardest technical problems we've ever faced. We're pouring billions into making AI more powerful, but only a tiny fraction of that is going to figuring out how to control it. The problem, of course, is that we're trying to regulate a technology that's moving at light speed. Laws and treaties move at a human pace. AI moves at a digital one. Hinton's warning isn't just about the danger itself, but about how quickly our window to act is closing. We are at a strange and dangerous point in history. The same human genius that split the atom and mapped our DNA has now put us on a path to create an intelligence far greater than our own. The man who just won a Nobel Prize for helping us get here is now screaming from the rooftops, telling us to look down at the cliff edge we're racing toward. Geoffrey Hinton has forecast of a 10 to 20% chance of extinction in the coming decades is a guarantee. It is a risk assessment from someone who knows more about this than almost anyone else on the planet. If an engineer told you there was a 1 in 5 chance your plane would crash, you wouldn't get on board. And yet, as a civilization, we are flooring the accelerator on this technology with what many experts call a reckless disregard for where we're headed. The path forward won't be easy. Getting global agreements in a fractured world seems almost impossible. Regulating a multi-trillion-dollar industry is a huge political fight, and solving the technical problem of AI control might be beyond us right now. But the alternative is to sleepwalk into a future that we didn't choose and can't control. The story of Geoffrey Hinton is like a modern Greek Shadida creator haunted by his own creation. His journey from pioneer to prophet should be a wake-up call for every single one of us. The question is no longer if AI will surpass us, but what we do, right now, to get ready for the day it does. The clock is ticking. What do you think about all this? Do you believe we can control superintelligent AI, or is Hinton's warning our inevitable future? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. This is one of the most important conversations of our time, and your voice matters. And if you found this video important, please share it to help spread the word, and subscribe for more deep dives into the tech that's shaping our world.